So we're almost there. So what we need to do next is hook up the start event so we can actually start looping through. What the start function will do, it'll first get the current generation and then it'll trigger an interval. So every, let's say 500 milliseconds, we'll loop through each generation and update the draw grid. Jest actually has some helpers we can use for this. Just use fake timers. So this will save us a lot of problems. When a timer starts, we can control it through Jest. So we're going to be calling start. So what the start function will do, let's write a little bit of pseudocode. It would call get cells from DOM. Yeah, let's program that first. Because this function is a side effect of calling start, what we can do is set up a spy. Jest.spy on. Now actually, spy on takes an object and then you specify the methods called on that object, which is get cells from DOM. Spy to have been called. We don't have start. Actually, I think it'll be game.start. Because we're spying, we have to modify our code slightly. This is the initial generation, so it'll be game.get cells from DOM. Yes. Right, so we've got our first generation. Now what we need to do is we need to loop through and draw grid. Expect set interval to have been called. Nope. Set interval. And let's just pass in a empty function. And you just want to test if this has been called yes. So we can see our interval is working. So what we need to do in our set interval is actually something we need to put in first is because we're setting up an interval, we don't want that to continuously loop. So we can just say jest to run only pending timers. That's a helper function. Yeah. So the next thing we need to do is spy on this draw grid. Draw grid spy equals jest.spy on, spying on game, and draw grid. Yep, fails. That's good. Actually, you want to regenerate the cells first. I know this is maybe doing too much at once, so it'll be regenerate, and then we call that regenerate spy. We can just call that for now. Maybe comment that out actually. Yeah. Generation equals game dot regenerate. Regenerate the current generation. Let's move that down. Ah yes, that was just in the wrong place. Excellent. So game generation was regenerate, and now we can put this one back in. That should have been called, and it hasn't. So we need game.drawGrid generation. I think this is because we need to set up this. Yes. Excellent. In this video, we used Jest's useFake timers to mock intervals. We used setInterval to create a new generation every 500 milliseconds. And we also used jest.spyOn to test our functions. So when you're writing a function that calls other functions that you've written, you don't necessarily want to write the test for that again. You just want to test whether the function has actually been called.